Okay, trigger mechanisms installed. Um, just one word of advice: when you drill for your trigger mechanism pins, I would test um, in a junk piece of wood. I would test your drill bit and then test your pins in the holes that you're drilling to make sure that they fit snug. I've run into a situation to where all drill bits are not going to drill the same size hole in the wood. So what I would do would be to just take a junk piece of wood and test and see which drill bit you have is going to fit your trigger mechanism pins nice and snug, because you want them nice and snug. So trigger mechanisms installed, real easy to do. Um, and once you get the mechanism installed, then the next thing on the gauge is the top of it here, to where they tell you to put in for your line release slot pin. Easy to do. This gun's they tell you 2 inches or less, or 2 inches or more. This gun's 2¼ inches, so you drill the pin for 2 inches or more. Easy to do. I would definitely drill, if you can, I would drill all the way through. That way, if you ever have to remove it, you have a way of removing this pin, because you definitely want to drive it in flush at the top. You don't want it sticking up to where you can, remove it if you have to. But drill the hole all the way through. That way, if you have to remove the pin for the line release, you got a way of removing it. That would be a good point. And the way this mechanism works, and I've installed several of them, is once you shoot the gun, the line releases forward, and you're ready for your next shot. If you don't, if you leave the line release forward and install a new shaft, it will load, but your line release will stay forward and you won't be able to pull it back. So after you shoot, for your next load, what you'll have to do on it, and I don't know if they're all that way, but every one of them I've installed, first you have to pull line release back, and then install the shaft, load the shaft, and that way the line release stays caught, stays in the rear. If you leave it forward and load the shaft with the line release forward, you can't push it. It stays forward. You can't pull it back and load up. So everything works fine. Release the shaft and line release goes forward. So pretty much done all the major work. I'm sure everybody's going to have questions. I'll answer them just as fair and simple as I possibly can. I'm sure I've skipped a lot of steps. Hopefully I haven't. The muzzle pins, I've got it installed. Like I told you, just recessed on each side about the same, nice snug fit. Same way when you drill for your muzzle pin, try several 1/4-inch drill bits on another piece of wood, because once you drill and your pin fits in loose on the muzzle or the trigger mechanism, it's drilled. It's done deal. So do this for me. Practice drill on some wood, an odd piece of wood, and make sure that your pins are going to fit snug on your muzzle, on your trigger mechanism main pins, and your line release pin. Just make sure everything's going to fit snug. You want them to. You don't want to have to hammer them in like a nail, but you want to be able to tap them in, and them stay put. So. Like I say, I'm sure I've missed a few things. Once I'm done with it, I'll go. This is all the major stuff. Once I'm done with it, I'm going to go ahead and rig it, band it, and put all my catches on it and finish it up. And then I'll come back and go back over it with you again to show you, what all it takes to finish it. So, like I say, I'm sure, everybody will have questions, and like I say, I will definitely answer them for you. I've built several of them, and you know, this gun took 8 months of trial and error. You know, with you name it, everything on the market has went into this gun, and this is what I've settled on. And you know, when I'm done with it, I'll get back with you, and we'll finish it up, wrap it up, and you know, if you're to this point with me, pat yourself on the back because you've done a great job, and when you're done, you'll have a very fine gun and something to be proud of, as I am. And let me finish it up, and I'll get back with you.